featuring the Sunday and Monday night games. Due to time constraints, we were unable to finish our point about the late Judy Coughlin, wife of New York Giants, Jacksonville Jaguars, and former Jacksonville Jaguars executive coach Tom Coughlin. We wanted to speak on what she meant to the Giants family, as well as obviously her own family. One thing that I would like to say about this woman is that everyone, Giant fans, players alike, felt that she was like the grandma. She was like someone who essentially when you hugged her, you felt like you knew her your whole life. I am a connoisseur of anything and all things New York Giants. And I could say just from hearing Coach Coughlin's past interviews, she was legitimately a supporting piece because behind any man's success is a very strong woman when it comes to that kind of profession, being a head football coach. Sad day for the New York Giants family. I'm not ashamed.
Sad day for the NFL.
Indeed, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I woke up and dropped a few tears because one thing about Giants fans is that whether you're abroad, say in England, or if you're in Jersey, or if you're where I'm at in Florida, you know, it's a family. And I think that was accentuated most recently on our trip, oddly enough, in Jacksonville, where Coach Coughlin has his 2 NFL ties. He had a very rare brain condition, which essentially took a lot from anything neurologically is going to take away from your personality and the shining light that she was. I humbly want to say on behalf of everyone here on my panel that our deepest heartfelt condolences go to not only the Coughlin family, also the Snee family, you know, Chris Snee, who won a Super Bowl with the Giants, 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, was Judy Coughlin's son-in-law. You know, like anything else, when, you know, I've been a fan for over 30 years, and just the same way I'd look at a grandfather that's aging, same way I look at our coaches. You know, a couple of years ago, we lost Coach Jim Fossil. When you're a fan for life and immersed into the love of football the way that everyone on this panel is, when good people are lost, we do feel like it's a member of the family. And I just want to say that my heartfelt condolences go out to the Coughlin family. I also want to make a strong mention of a foundation that is very dear to my heart too. The J Fund, led by Tom Coughlin, honing in on pediatric cancer. You know, it's no secret that when you're a full-time football coach and when that dictates so much of your life, or even later in his career as an executive, you need good people around you to continue to push and you know, take the burden off of the shoulders of people who are suffering and people who need that help. And I want to just say that if there's a cause that you feel the need to look into more deeper and to potentially support and donate to the J Fund, headed by Coach Tom Coughlin, is definitely one dear to my heart. And it's all business. It's good. It goes where it's supposed to go. And I think that's one of the most important things when we speak about charity. But, you know, sad day, man. Not going to lie. It's sad. I feel this way whenever we lose somebody in the Giants family, or in the NFL family for that matter, but definitely hits a little harder being a diehard Giant fan. And, you know, pretty much I've been watching football since I was 9 years old. And Coach Coughlin was already a member of our team back when we beat the Buffalo Bills in the exhilarating Super Bowl 25. Coach Coughlin was our special teams coach alongside the great Bill Belichick, who ran our defense, as well as Coach Bill Parcells. He then went on to Boston College, and had a giant reunion in '04, ushering in the Eli Manning era. The rest is history. Coach Coughlin was able to duplicate what the great Bill Parcells did, helping us win 2 Super Bowls. And I said for the better part of a decade that moving on from Coach Coughlin was one of the worst mistakes, probably the worst mistake the New York Giants made since making the fatal mistake of hiring Ali Sherman over Tom Landry and Vince Lombardi. But that's all I got. It's sad.
Well said, dude. Well said.
I'm sad.
Well said.
And I hope that in a time where we live in 2022, in a time where marriage is kind of something that people just like throw in the ocean, that it's just a thing to do these days, and it's not taken as serious as what the sanctity of it is supposed to be about. I think when you run into people that put their marriage on that next level, into not only showing the world what those two people mean to each other, but also exhibiting it as a way of teaching lessons for people that are coming up. I think that's what Judy Coughlin and Tom Coughlin exhibited. And I think that's greater than anything that professionally either one of them could have ever done in Coach Coughlin's case, helping our franchise win a couple of Super Bowls. I think what you do in your home and how you leave your legacy in the family is always going to be greater than anything you do professionally. And I think that's one thing that needs to be admired about these two people. That's all I got on that. I want to move it along to the Sunday night football game. The Tennessee Titans are visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be an interesting battle. We have a Titans team that a lot of people kind of counted out after the 0-2 start. New York Giants kind of snuck one on them. Buffalo Bills did not sneak. They ambushed them. Titans started 0-2. Since then, they've been going back to their roots, what works. And what works is King Henry. They're a great running football team. Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, that is up in the air right now about who's going to start. On the flip side, recently acquired Chief Kadarius Toney, I imagine is going to get some snap share. Patrick Mahomes, obviously still getting it without Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce is his main man. But I do think the plan for Kansas City ultimately is to cultivate Kadarius Toney into something similar to what they got out of the great Tyreek Hill. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this football game?
Johnny, you want to take it?
In Kansas City, with the Titans questionable or question on the quarterback, Willis or Tannehill, that's not going to bode well for them. Henry may run for 150 yards, but if you don't have a decent passing game, I mean, right now the Chiefs got it rolling. I think this will be the Chiefs game, probably 31-17. And, but Henry's rolling now, isn't he, Richie?
Indeed. He's definitely getting back to that face of the NFL when you think about who the main man is. You know, Jonathan Taylor took the crown for a short while. It hasn't been as pleasant in year 2 for Jonathan Taylor in terms of being that man. King Henry, I think he's back all the way. You know, he's coming off, that injury. And whenever it comes to lower extremities, with the exception of Adrian Peterson, you look at most players, most notably Odell Beckham Jr., it takes Saquon Barkley, another guy, Christian McCaffrey. It takes time to get back to being what you were if you're ever going to be that person again. And I think in King Henry's case, he's starting. Ultimately, if the Titans have a chance to win this ball game, their defense has to arrive. And they've got to give some exotic looks to Patrick Mahomes to not let him just sit in the pocket and do his thing. But I tend to agree with you, John. I do think the Titans are going to give a valiant effort. But I got the Chiefs winning this thing almost identical to what you're calling. I got the Chiefs winning this thing 31-24. I think the Titans are going to hang. But I will say this. If Ryan Tannehill starts, they have a better chance of winning. No knock on Malik Willis. It's just a time thing. You know, I said this to Zappy, and I'm going to requote myself. It's called wartime. You know, battles with your guys on the field. And you cannot just get that off the rip. It takes time. Malik Willis is the future, and he deserves to be the future. But I think as far as this game goes, Ryan Tannehill gives them the best chance to win. Either way, I think the Chiefs do it.
All right. I'm going to think the Titans are going to keep this game close in the first half. Just in the first half. I think, it'll be like a, 2017, 2016 game going into halftime. I think it's going to be pretty equal. In the second half, I got the Chiefs blown away. Like I see him putting up 20 unanswered points.
Really?
Yeah. Like I think they're still trying to get a feel for their offense. And Tennessee knows what they can deliver. They know what kind of offense they can put out there. Kansas City is still like they're just I don't think they know what they're capable of yet.
In the words of that maniacal fan from Major League, they're lying in the weeds.
Yeah, I don't think they know what they're capable of yet.
I kind of agree with you on that, Brett.
Like I think they're gonna blow that shit up in the second half.
Yeah.
They're gonna take Derrick Henry out of the game.
I feel like it's gonna look a lot similar to the AFC title game a few years back.
I think it's gonna be like a 41-20 kind of finish, 40-20 kind of finish, or 40-21. Either way, they're gonna win by double digits. But I just don't see. I see Derrick Henry putting his name in the first half, and the second half, not so much. Like it's at KC, it's a primetime game. I don't see Tennessee coming out with a win on this one on the road.
Well, Brett, to your point, it's proven time and true with this particular Tennessee team that once you get up, say 2 touchdowns, Derrick Henry can be a non-factor at that point.
Yeah.
And when Derrick Henry is your bread and butter, that's a problem.
Yep.
But no, I like your points. I think you made some really solid ones. I got the game a little closer, but I certainly could see it going your way too, given your logic. Mr. Olson, what do you have? Zappy, what do you have on this?
I think we already know the formula for Tennessee to win this game. They've shown it 2 of the last 3 times. They have beaten Kansas City in the regular season.
Yes, they have.
But in the AFC Championship game, they got up to that early 10-0 lead and ended up getting blown out in the second half.
Indeed.
This is one of those games where Tennessee is going to have to keep it close, and they're going to in the first half. I agree with Brett 100%. I believe they are going to rely heavy on the run game to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand. But where the difference is going to be is I honestly believe it's going to come down to Kansas City having the ball last in the first half, and they will be receiving the ball in the second half where they're going to be able to break the game open. That's where your separation comes.
Yes,
and that's normally how you beat a Titans team like this. So with that being said, I do think it'll be a close 13-13, 17-17 type game. And right before halftime, the Chiefs will take the lead and open it up to start the second half and take Tennessee's game plan out of it. A.J. Brown has 659 yards receiving for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tennessee Titans don't even have – their receiving corps does not even have that as a group. So this is going to be another one of those cases that not having A.J. Brown there is going to hurt the Titans in the end. And for that reason – they won't be able to keep up with Kansas City in the second half. I think the Chiefs will win this game. I think they're going to win it by 13, 33-20. But early on, it won't be easy.
I think I'm with all of you. Yeah, we have a different result, kind of, sort of, but I think we all agree. I think I got it the closest, but I think we all agree that Kansas City has seen the formula. Now, before we move along, the one thing that could win Tennessee this game is if Kansas City mishandles the football. The turnover battle is going to be key in winning that game, like any football game, no matter what level. But I think in this one, it could be accentuated. We got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to New Orleans. The Saints still undermanned, but coming off a pretty emotional, inspired victory over the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that is undeniably the most disappointing of the AFC. And once again, John, no offense, I do think the Green Bay Packers could be riding that for the NFC were it not for the Rams. The Rams did win the Super Bowl after all. So I think the Rams having their issues saves Green Bay from being the most disappointing. Plus, they got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That helps. As far as this game goes, I'm expecting a three-point outcome either way. My fear, if I'm a Raven fan, is that they have had issues putting games away. This is not going to be an easy place to play, no matter what season it is. The Superdome is a tough place to play, no matter who you are, no matter what season it is. In order for the New Orleans Saints to win, they're going to have to make Lamar Jackson uncomfortable. They're going to have to first stuff the Baltimore run. I don't necessarily think that they're going to have an awfully difficult time limiting their pass game outside of Mark Andrews. If you can essentially say, okay, Andrews is going to beat us, nobody else is, I think the Saints are going to manage to keep this thing close, get tight inside the 20s, holding the field goals. In the end, I think Baltimore wins. I'm going 24-20 Ravens. It's going to be a close game. I think Lamar Jackson makes some plays with his legs as well as with his arm down the stretch. And Andy Dalton, I want to throw this little tidbit out, is awful in prime time.
Yeah. Ravens are going to have a 10-day off stretch. They've had time to rest. Mark Andrews has had time to rest. What's that guy's name? Devono?
Duvernay. Devin Duvernay.
That guy is
He's lightning, bro.
an animal, bro. He is the X factor in this game.
I tend to agree.
Granted, it's at the Saints. It's a Monday nighter. It's kind of hard to bet against the Saints because they're playing at New Orleans on a Monday night game. They play really well. But the Ravens have had a week and a half off, so I really don't know how they're going to come out on this. I think it's going to be close. This will be a tight matchup going into the last 5 minutes of the game. And it really comes down to who is going to run the ball better.
Yeah.
Baltimore or New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I think Baltimore is let's be honest, they have a better run game than New Orleans does. The only time New Orleans is going to have a better run game is when they implement Tyson Hill. That's the only time they really and that's if they're doing it the entire game. Not
I feel that
5 minutes of the game.
I feel that his presence on the field alone is something that you have to account for, and I do think
you absolutely have to.
And I think it opens it up.
But I think when it comes down to a better run game and to put this game away, the Ravens have the advantage, whether it be on the road or at home.
I tend to agree. I actually do.
I think Lamar is going to ice this game. Whether it be with a first down, run the last minute and a half of the game, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 26-23 battle, 23-20 battle. It's not going to be high scoring at all. It's going to come down to the run game. And Kamara had a breakout game last week.
He did.
So
amidst trade talks,
I think Baltimore is going to be really focused on him. and what he's got to do. And I think Olave might be still injured. New Orleans does not have a lot of deep ball threats. So,
and also with not having Jameis start, it definitely limits their ability because Jameis has a cannon.
It's hurtful.
Yeah,
but I think the Ravens have the advantage in this one, and they'll take it on the road, 26-20, Ravens.
I want to piggyback off of what you said, Brett, just for a moment before I pass it to Zap. I think the Baltimore Ravens, given their 3 fourth-quarter collapses, whether you're talking Dolphins, Bills, or against my New York Giants, I think it's good lessons to learn in the second half of the season and things not to do. Zappy alluded to it regularly over the course of some of these games that if you want to lose the game, start passing the ball. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to do it, and I think I rebutted that with saying just ask the Atlanta Falcons how that works. It's not that complicated. It's only as complicated as you make it to be. But, solid points, Brett. I honestly do agree with the way you're seeing this. Zap, what do you think about this thing? Saints need this game more. That I will say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say the Saints, to me, need this game more, and they're also coming off of a very inspirational win against the Raiders. One of those games that you build on. Winning 24-0 at home last week when a lot of people didn't even see them coming close to winning that game. It says a lot about this team. This division is there for the Saints to take it. Let's face it, this division is there, and it's very possible that at the end of Monday, we're going to have a 3-way tie between the Falcons, the Buccaneers, and the Saints, where the Buccaneers would have it based on division record alone.
Yes.
But I think this Saints team is going to be playing some inspired football.
Okay.
I like the way they looked on Monday. Granted, it was against the Raiders, but that's still a tough team.
You shut anybody out at the NFL level. It's something to be said.
It is. And, the Saints, while they have lost Mark Ingram for a little bit, they slowly are getting healthier. And this is the time where you want to get healthier.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the Ravens go, they just lost Rashad Bateman for the year. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Now, they're in the sweepstakes for OBJ.
I was going to say that. That's my dark horse to land OBJ.
And this is one of those games where, okay, maybe we need an OBJ. I think the Saints pull this one out. I think it's going to be close, as everyone has alluded to.
Really?
But I think it comes out to a Will Lutz field goal at the end of the game. Saints pull this off 23-20. And Lamar Jackson is going to make that costly mistake at the end of the game that gives the Saints that opportunity to win it.
I'm not saying that it can't happen because there's a reason why they're not undefeated. The Ravens literally could be undefeated. They had Buffalo where they wanted them. They had Miami where they wanted them. They had the Giants where they wanted them. And those all turned into 3 gut-wrenching losses. I do like the way that the Ravens finished the game last week. But, we'll have to just see how the second half plays out.
Johnny,
I thought I would say this. Sorry to interrupt you, Brett. I never thought I would say this, but I actually think the thing that could potentially be holding back the Ravens is actually Harbaugh. And I never thought I would say that. But that's how I feel lately.
Johnny, what do you think?
That game, it's almost like a toss-up. I've been going back and forth listening to you guys talk, but my first thought was the Ravens, I think, are going to play like they did the second half of the game the other night where they really kind of turned it on.
Yes.
Seems like doesn't matter who their running back is. A couple weeks ago, Drake had 125 yards. They follow that game up with Gus Edwards rushing for more than 100 yards.
That kid, what's his name again? Devereaux or
Duvernay?
Devin Duvernay.
Oh my God,
Duvernay. Yeah, he's an
electric player.
And Mark Andrews, I just read here now that the shoulder injury he got the other night is not serious. It's not a serious thing, so he'll have his customary 7-8 catches with the touchdown.
He is so good.
And
they're one of the best in the league.
And Lamar Jackson, he'll scramble. He'll run for 60, 70 yards. It's going to be probably the difference maker. Kamara finally had his coming out game last week as far as touchdowns are concerned. But I'm going to say it's going to be 24-20 Ravens in this one. I think they're going to keep it rolling now.
So John and I actually fall on the same final, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we actually are seeing it directly the same way. I want to make a quick mention. You talk about.
Hold on, boys. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm going to step off for 1 minute.
Yeah, do you think? We talk about Mark Andrews, him being the heir apparent more or less to Travis Kelce. But a big shout out to Isaiah Likely. He had quite the game against Tampa. And definitely, the more that they move him along, having that double tight end situation could actually compensate on some levels for losing Bateman and not necessarily having the quote-unquote number one. Because that's something that the Baltimore Ravens have struggled with pretty much since Lamar's been in town.
Yeah, running a 21 personnel is exactly what you need to do with a Greg Roman type offense, especially when you're running the ball as much as you do. You need to have two tight ends out there that can block and catch. Isaiah Likely was one of those tight ends coming out of Coastal Carolina that I thought had the opportunity to have a good career, and he goes into the right situation, honestly. I thought that was a perfect place for him. He had his time to shine last week, and he did it. So for you to bring up that point, I think is a solid point. My only thing about it is that none of us have talked about is we can't forget the Saints. I mean, they're still a top 10 defense.
Yes.
This is one of the better defenses the Ravens are playing this year, with the exception of the Bills. So it's a close game. That's why I think
I think it's a hell of a matchup, because when I look at New Orleans' record, I know in my brain that they are better than their record to a level the same way I feel about the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers are underachieving. And sometimes, you lose a few, you get a couple of bad breaks, and the thing snowballs.
Yeah.
But
no question about it.
But the Baltimore Ravens are a quality football team, and the humble side of me says, my God, 9 out of 10 times the way that game played out prior to the last 5.5, 6 minutes, I don't think we win that game. But it only matters what you do that one Sunday, and that was a beautiful win. Out of these 4 teams that we highlighted tonight,
put it in your own ass.
Are they all going to the Super Bowl? Excuse me. Are they all going to the playoffs?
Put it in your own ass. Yeah.
I don't know about the Saints.
I got 3 out of 4 going. I think the Saints are going to finish strong, but I think it's going to be a little too late. But yeah, Ravens, Titans, Chiefs. I'm going to say each win a playoff game.
It's hard to say that. I mean, it's hard to argue against Titans and Chiefs when you really look at the Titans division, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
That division is in shambles. And after the Colts, it's a train wreck. And after the Colts benched Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger, even though I've been calling for that.
The bigger picture is a good move, but right now it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and I think that's where we can see that the Frank Reich ending is near. So that, to me, right there, the Titans are going to make the playoffs just based on the simple fact that they play in the AFC South.
Yeah. And the Jaguars didn't get off to the start that I thought they would. I thought they were going to be a little better record-wise than they are.
Yeah, and then you look at the Chiefs. I mean, this team has played some phenomenal football early on, and I think it's just credit to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
He is that damn
together. Yeah, those two together are phenomenal together. And, the Chiefs, while they still need to implement more of a running game, they've gone back and forth between Allaire and Pacheco, you still have Mahomes. So no matter what, that's good for at least 10 wins in a playoff spot. You and I both had the Chiefs as a number 3 seed in the division. I still think the Chargers will win this division, but I think the Chiefs will make the playoffs. And then you look at the Saints and the Ravens. I still have the Bengals pulling off the AFC.
Really?
Yes, I do.
With Jamar Chase out for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. because the Ravens have a lot more things.
I don't see that happening.
Oh, well, I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinion. That's what makes the beauty of podcasts and everything.
Yeah, I get it,
but
no,
it's
no Jamar Chase. No,
but the reason
I'm
why
with
is
Gretzky
because,
on this. I got the Ravens winning that division.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why though is why I say
Also
is
got a better
because-
defense.
Yeah.
Well, you also look at what the Ravens have done earlier this year, and things like that tell me, to your point, Richie, that Harbaugh is out coaching himself, and he's going to coach himself out of a job. And that's why I think at the end of this season, he will be gone from this team.
Really, that quickly?
That quickly? He should have been gone a couple years
Well,
ago.
what I mean by that quickly is that I think the enigma with the Ravens is that you got Lamar, who's won a league MVP. They were a one. If I'm not mistaken, were they not a 1 seed when
they were 14-2, I believe, that year.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
the 1 seed,
and they got booted out. They haven't committed to Lamar, so when's a better time to make a change when you're not even sure what you're doing with your quarterback?
Exactly. There's too many things, and it goes to ownership.
They
haven't committed to Lamar Jackson.
John
Harbaugh has been almost on his way out. And they had J.K. Dobbins. They were an 8-2 team last year that just fell apart. And this year, they haven't exactly convinced me that they're the team that is going to come out and blow teams away. They've had that opportunity, and they haven't taken it.
Hold on. The Ravens are equivalent to what San Fran is doing.
How so?
Because the run game, number one, like they're mixing it, and they're pulling the jet sweep. The McCaffrey thing, like the Ravens can do all that.
McCaffrey pulled in Al Bundy this past week.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, that was amazing. It was amazing. And the Ravens have the potential to do that. They really do. I mean, between Ken and Drake and like I said, I can't even pronounce his name.
Devin Duvernay.
Like those guys are absolute beasts, man.
Well, the Ravens' offense is predicated off.
And then you throw in Lamar's speed. What he can do. Well, off the read option. And I'm just, dude. They are so like. I think Lamar has a better advantage than San Fran does.
Well, let me ask you this. Finish your point,
statement.
but I do have a question for you, Brett. Finish your point.
Statement.
I have a question for you.
That's not a bold statement at all.
Finish your point, but I do have a question for you, Brett.
I think Jimmy G has to prove himself when it comes to making a third down play. He's got the run game. He's got the defense. He's a game manager. He was a game manager when he was in New England.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
He has to be the guy to come up with those third down short yardage situations, fourth down short situations, and win the game and put the game away. I don't think he is that guy to get the job done.
Well, I want to ask you this since we are at the midway point and kind of go round robin on it before we get out of here. Obviously, the Bills and the Eagles are the two powerhouses in each conference, and the consensus favorites to end up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Two-parted question. Who do you view as the biggest threat to each team in the respective conference? And if it's not the same team, who do you view as a team that might not have the sexiest record at the midway point that can make a punch at each team? It's a two-parted question, but you go ahead first, Brett, and then we're going to pass it along.
I'll be honest. Philly is no joke. They have a solid run game. Their front seven is legit. And A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, their tight end situation, Miles Sanders, like they have a great team all around. And they're finding ways to win. And not even finding ways to win. They're winning at ease. Like it's not like they're winning games by 3 points or less. Like they are winning with no issues.
But let me ask you this. Out of teams, like I said, and it could be the same team. The team with not the sexiest record or the team that is within reach. There's a couple of teams.
Yeah.
You got the Cowboys, Vikings, and Giants, who are within striking distance of the Eagles. You have an upstart 49ers team, not the best record, but a team that I think nobody wants to play when it counts.
Yeah, they're.
Who is the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC, in your opinion, down the stretch, second half, the whole shebang? Who is your biggest threat?
I'll be honest, Dallas.
That's a fair answer.
Dallas is their biggest threat. I mean, Pollard is coming in his own. Zeke might come back in the next 4 weeks.
He'll be back for the Packer game.
Yeah. So, I mean,
a place where he likes to run the football.
Yeah, I mean, so it's. I think Dallas has a legitimate threat towards them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a very similar defense, but I think Dallas has a more how do I put it? Their defense is they're faster. They can react to the ball more. They have a very fast defense, and they have a very they react very well.
I still think the formula to beat the Eagles is you got to make Jalen Hurts do more than they want him to. And the question is, can the Cowboys or another defense or another game plan force that to happen?
But Jalen Hurts is so unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get.
I don't think it's that unpredictable.
And that's what makes him dangerous.
I don't think it's that unpredictable. The Eagles' formula to winning, they abandoned letting Jalen throw it 30 times a game. They have a triage of running backs behind the best O-line in the NFL.
Yeah,
and a very dependable
Devontae Smith.
High efficiency, low risk offense.
Yeah, dude.
You need a defense that's going to win those battles up front to beat the Eagles. I'll tell you who I think could knock them off later. John, who is the biggest threat to the Eagles?
I'm going to say 49ers. Since they got McCaffrey.
I like it.
And happy you can thank me for that.
Oh, shit. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of ruining that trade right now, but nevertheless. 49ers and Dallas. With the Vikings having an outside shot at it.
Yeah.
Cousins has stumbled too many times in big games.
Yeah.
You got to realize that the Vikings' only loss came to Philly. That was week 2.
Defense showed it out in the second half.
And Minnesota held them scoreless in the second half.
And the Vikings held the Eagles scoreless in the second half too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
think San Fran, and maybe I'd give the edge to the Vikings over the Cowboys to knock off the Eagles. You think the Eagles have the Cowboys number?
I think they have Ben DiNucci and Cooper Rush's number. The Eagles have not beaten Dak Prescott. That's the big one to understand here. They have not beaten Dak. Dak has their number. And then to correct Brett, they've had 2 games where they won by 3 points against the Cardinals and against the Lions. And then against the Cowboys, they had a big lead, and then Dallas put the formula on how to beat this Eagles team. And Dallas almost pulled it off with a Cooper Rush at quarterback. Now you insert this Cowboys team who they look like they're starting to click a little more. They're starting to gel a little more.
What formula are you talking about? Because Philly is still unbeaten.
Because they beat Cooper Rush, like I just said. It's put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. That's what they've started making them do, and that's why Dallas climbed back in and got the game to 20-17.
Oh, so
I still think,
but it's 2 teams. It's between the Niners and the Cowboys, the two best defenses in the NFC, as well as probably the 2 best running teams in the NFC. And it's right there between the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys as far as who has the best running teams.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to who has the best quarterback between those 3. And those 3, it's Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, Jimmy G. He's made it to the Super Bowl
when he's healthy. Yeah,
but he's healthy right now. We're talking about right now, not what he did last year. Yeah, exactly. And he wasn't healthy when the Eagles played the Cowboys. That's the point I'm making. If he plays that game, Dallas wins that game. They shut down Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown for the most part. They did a good job of slowing down that offense. They only gave up 155 yards of passing to Jalen Hurts.
The way I
So-
see this breaking down is Dallas gets revenge on the Niners in round 1. I do think that Dallas, no matter what the result of game 2 is, I tend to agree with anyone saying that Dallas is the biggest threat to Philly. I actually share that sentiment. The reason why, as a Giants fan, I don't think we match up well with Philly is because one of our Waterloos this year is that we are struggling against the run. And that's what Philly does really well. But I do think that Dallas could knock out Philly. That I do believe. I think that can very much happen. 49ers, you got to consider them a threat because of the overwhelming talent that Garoppolo has. But I'll put it to you like this. If you swap out Garoppolo, to Zappy's point, for a Dak Prescott, I think the 49ers are a Super Bowl team. With Jimmy Garoppolo, I think they're just a team that is going to give you a good punch.
And they've made it to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G and multiple NFC championship games.
Taking my fan hat completely off, I actually think that the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl this year. That's my genuine opinion as of right now. As of right now. Because of the fact that defense wins championships. And I actually do believe that Dallas does have a championship caliber defense. And it's not easy for me to say that. You know how I feel about the Giants. And you know how much I hate the Cowboys and Eagles. I'm taking the fan hat off. I'm being honest. I can't wait till my Giants have some draft capital and some salary cap room to – I'm proud of my boys. We're 6-2 hanging with these guys. As far as the AFC goes, clearly Buffalo is the favorite. But, when I think about what Miami added on defense over the trade deadline, when I think about what Miami has the capabilities to do on offense, yes, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. But do I like Buffalo's receiving corps better than Miami? I don't think so. Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs. He's great. But they don't have a Jalen Waddle nor a Tyreek Hill. And now when you add that San Francisco connection in the backfield with Mostert and Wilson, I actually think that the Miami Dolphins did that because they know that more than likely they're going to be playing on the road, inclement weather. They want to be able to freaking run the ball now. And I think Miami is actually the biggest threat to Buffalo.
Really?
Not the Chiefs. The Buffalo, I think, already has – Buffalo knows they got the Chiefs this year. I think they know that. It's not the Ravens. It's the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have the best chance to upset the Buffalo Bills.
It depends on the matchup and what the records are going into the playoffs.
No, for sure, because you might catch the wrong matchup and not advance.
Exactly.
That's a good point. But the way things are shaking out and shaping up, more than likely, that is your round 2 matchup. And that will be scary. The Dolphins, going back to last year.
If it is a round 2 matchup, it's going to be at Buffalo.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's at Buffalo. There's no Buffalo's going to be the number 1 seed unless they had a meltdown these next few weeks.
Yeah. So
Miami's got 3 losses, correct?
Yes.
Buffalo's got 1.
Yeah.
If Miami sweeps them, that's not it. That's not written in stone just yet.
It's the easy answer on this one. My pick is Miami, but the easy answer is the Chiefs. Just simply because of recent history, they're a good playoff team.
After what I saw most recently, I thought the Bills were toying with them and still figured out how to beat them on the road.
Yeah, but Miami, the one thing I kept saying, a lot of people have been saying, is they needed a pass rusher if they wanted to compete come playoff time. Mm-hmm. And what did they do? They get Mr. Bradley Chubb.
Huge,
because that is an A+ pickup for a team that needed an A+ type of player, because Jalen Phillips just had not taken the steps forward to be the number 1 pass rusher on the team. Their cornerbacks are already good. Their safeties are good. Their defensive tackle is good. A first round pick, a first for in next year's draft, as well as a 4th, I believe it was. Irrelevant to what it's a great trade. I mean, like Richie and I hit on last night. The 3 firsts they got from the 49ers turned into Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Bradley Chubb.
Hard to argue with that.
It's a phenomenal job by the Dolphins ownership. The Dolphins, I mean, we saw what they can do to Buffalo with Tua on the field. basically 50% there, if that.
That Dolphins trade is the reason why New England and the Jets flip-flop in whatever order are going to be 3 and 4.
Absolutely. And it's, the Dolphins.
And the Jets are going to finish 4th. I'm going to say that right now. Smoke and mirrors. The Jets are going down.
We had the Jets as
we're still.
You had them winning 9-10 games.
So I had them winning 7.
No, we had them winning 7 games this year.
Yeah, they're still going to win 7. They're still going to win 7.
They're still going to be the 4 seed. We had them as the 4 seed all along.
Yeah, 4th. John, who is your biggest threat to the Bills?
Yeah.
Well, I've been listening to your points on Miami. That offense and that speed is definitely can beat a lot of teams. But I still go back to the Chiefs, I guess.
Okay, fair.
It's too easy, but that's who I kind of go back to. Allen and Mahomes just have this unbelievable drive.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
I like the Bills much more than Kansas City.
It's almost like a Brady-Peyton matchup. You know what I mean?
Took the words out of my mouth. He literally took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say the same thing.
Matchup, Brady-Peyton, Mahomes.
It's the next gen.
Allen.
It's the next gen.
100%.
The NFC is still searching for that matchup, but perhaps it could be Hurts and Prescott. Time will reveal that. Still very relatively young guys.
A point on the Kansas City Chiefs that I've always wondered about. Travis Kelce seems like he can catch as many passes a game as he wants to.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a great tight end run uncovered.
Yeah.
Just watch it sometime in games.
No,
he breaks off the line and he runs 10 yards without anyone even.
Nobody on him.
And you know what's funny about that? Tyreek Hill is no longer there. So this isn't the type of deal where people are like, oh, that was because of Tyreek. Mm-hmm. Tyreek is gone. I'm curious to see what Kadarius Toney brings to that offense and if he could show the maturity to be a team player and help this team chase another Super Bowl. That remains to be seen. Not very keen on his actions with my New York Giants. But, new situation. Hey, I like that 3rd rounder for him because I wasn't a big fan of the pick to begin with. We could have got Micah Parsons.
You were not getting Micah Parsons that late.
We did trade back, though.
You did trade back. Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
But it should have been Devontae Smith you drafted.
Carolina and Denver screwed this all up. You guys wanted a corner, but because of guys getting corner happy, you got Parsons. We wanted Devontae Smith, and then Gettleman was like, oh, he's a wide receiver. He catches the football. Yeah, let's take that guy. Oh,
yeah, if it's the first, he would have caught it.
But we were able to still get Thibodeau, Neal. So it wasn't all for naught. And that trade, a lot happened with that trade. It also enabled the Bears to get Justin Fields. The lot came with that Giants trade with the Bears. I remember last season when the Giants were in the ruts, I'm over here watching Bears games hoping that they lose. And I'm like, this is so awkward and weird. But and so I think we pretty much slapped. Zappy, what are you doing over there?
What the fuck is? I'm sorry. What are you doing, dude?
I'm getting ready to take my medication. If you guys really want to know,
you sneaking chips? Is that what you're doing?
You're sneaking anything, man.
Like barbecue chips? What
I don't have any chips, but thank you.
What are you snacking on?
My pills.
Oh.
I really want to know.
All right. No, I just started hearing like chop. I was
chop. Yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. That's cool. I think we've more than covered these 2 primetime games. Great show, gentlemen. I love the points everybody made. And I'm going to go off record and just say that while everybody makes logical points, and I agree with most of them, what's going to end up happening is the Cowboys probably beat the Eagles in Philly. And the Giants, after 2 triumphant road wins in Tampa and Minnesota, host the Cowboys for the title game. And similar to 2007, look for more TO memes.
You'll be traveling to Dallas for the title game.
No, we're finishing second.
Really?
Okay, third place.
No.
We're finishing second.
Hold on.
They won't.
Hold on.
Oh, somebody didn't tell you.
That Thanksgiving game is going to be the game that hurts you guys.
Hold the frag on. Okay.
And why are tour guides in
No.
Dallas saying that Eli didn't sign the wall? We both know that happened.
Okay, hold on. Number one, the Giants are not going to Dallas for the NFC Championship game. It's not happening.
No, that's right. It's coming to Jersey.
No, it's not. No. Either way, no. The Giants are not going to be in the NFC Championship game. It's not happening. Not happening.
It's going to be the Patriots at Jets.
Patriots at Jets.
You think
really?
after
Okay.
you would
I didn't
think
say
after
that.
2 Super Bowl losses,
I didn't say that.
he wouldn't underestimate us.
No, the bullshit, dude. You don't have a wide receiving core. You don't have a number one wide receiver. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening.
Watch that Super Bowl DVD. Belichick was worried about pass.
What? Which one? The 86, the 90? Which one am I watching?
No, not when. No, I'm talking about more recently when we gave you.
Oh, you mean 2000? You mean 2011? 11 years ago? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll watch that. 11 years ago. Get over it.
It doesn't sound like you've gotten over it.
I have gotten over it.
He's a little angry.
He's getting angry.
11 years ago. Get
Poking
the
the
frick
bear.
over it.
Poking
You
the
know
bear
what's
over there.
cool about waiting 11 years?
But
You know
listen,
what's cool about waiting 11 years? It's a lot more relevant than the first 40 of your team's
okay,
existence.
Okay, let's be serious here, boys. Let's be
We had like 6 fans before time.
Let's be
before
serious.
Mo Lewis almost killed Drew Bledsoe.
The Giants are not. It's not happening. It's not happening.
No, not this
Okay,
year. I agree. But, I mean, I've seen crazy things happen. The 2000 Giants were not a very good team. They still found their way in the bowl.
I agree, but it depends on the schedule, and it depends what is going to happen in the next 8 weeks.
I think we'll beat Tampa or Atlanta. I think we could do that. I think we could do. If I had a choice, I'd rather play it. I'd rather play Atlanta. If I had a choice.
Really? At Atlanta or at Jersey?
Oh, no, we're not going to be hosting unless the Eagles and Cowboys completely plummet. I mean, I still think the Giants are 11-12 win team this year, given their schedule. I mean, we already got 6. Oh, shit. Giants could go 4-5 down the stretch.
You're 5-2, right? You're 5-2.
6-2.
6-2.
Giants could go 4-5 down the stretch and finish with a 10-win season. We got 9 games left. We only need to win 4 to ensure a 10-win season.
It's possible, but you don't have home field advantage or possible a game at home.
We just suffered our first first road loss of the year last Sunday.
No, I know. But
So I don't think playing on the road has really been an issue for the Giants. We even win in England.
There's no guarantee.
We're undefeated in Europe. We beat the Titans on the road. We took care of business in Duval.
Oh my God! All right.
I know. I'm stretching.
So,
I feel about my points.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Even if 3 NFC East teams make it in the playoffs,
Yes, possibly
okay,
4.
let's just say 3.
Possibly
Okay.
4.
Let's just say 3.
Okay.
Probably 4.
Hypothetical. Then you have the NFC West. Who's coming on the NFC West?
Niners.
The Niners all day.
Okay, even though Seattle's in first place right now.
I don't give 2 damns. The Niners are a better football team.
And I'll be the first to admit, all of us will be the first to admit that we did not see this happening with Seattle.
But it still might happen the way we see it. There's a second half to be played.
I agree with that, but it's so up and down. But
The power is in the East.
the powers in the East.
The East and the Vikings.
The Vikings are going to win the North. Absolutely. I agree
Niners
with
got
that.
off to a bad start, but nobody wants to see them.
But who's coming out of the South?
It's still going to be Tampa.
Really?
Yeah.
3-5.
Yeah.
Tampa's coming out